Do you ever have those quiet moments, maybe late at night, right before you fall asleep, where you feel like the whole world has just slowed down? Like time itself has gotten a little bit drowsy.
Yeah, absolutely.
We usually navigate some pretty complex data and, policy analysis here in the deep dive, but today we're taking a unique turn.
We are. Our source material isn't a financial report. It's not a scientific journal. It's this incredibly, intimate dialogue, a conversation that happens in that rare stillness, between waking and dreaming.
So it's like a philosophical roadmap for finding some peace.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
So we're diving into a collection of these really profound insights, we're calling them nuggets of peace, pulled from a discussion about memory, comfort, and the way we personify nature to cope with it all.
Right.
Our mission isn't just to appreciate the text, it's to analyze the cognitive and psychological tools that are actually embedded within it.
Exactly. Our goal is to unpack the practical strategies in this gentle exchange. Specifically, how this dialogue suggests we can access a state of deep stillness, a state where the world, and I love this phrase, truly forgets its hurry.
It's like translating poetry into a useful framework.
Yeah, a framework for emotional regulation just by shifting your internal focus.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want to start with a truly fascinating idea the source material brings up. It's the notion that memory isn't just in our brains. One of the voices poses this wonderfully strange question. Do you ever think places remember us?
And that right there, it immediately challenges the conventional model of memory. It introduces this concept of an externalized memory system.
An external hard drive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When we talk about deep dives, we usually mean data. Here, we're talking about diving into the environment itself as a kind of physical hard drive. And the source, it focuses on a specific place. That old hill we used to climb every summer evening.
And the reply in the dialogue, it confirms this. It suggests that these places hold on to echoes. But this isn't just some vague feeling, right? The text insists it's physical, it's sensory.
It's intensely sensory, and I think that's the key. The power isn't in recalling the big event, it's in the sensory context. It doesn't just say, we had a happy time.
Right.
It recalls quiet laughter, the specific sound of footsteps in wet grass, the smell of warm wood.
Those little things.
Those little things. Psychologically, those cues are way more potent than just verbal recall. They function as these powerful retrieval mechanisms that, they bypass the rational brain and pull you straight into the emotion of the past.
So if we look at this through a psychology lens, we're talking about embodied cognition, aren't we? This idea that our memories are all tied up with our physical world.
That's the nugget right there. We often assume it's the huge events that create huge memories. But this dialogue, it highlights how the most powerful memories are often these tiny, transient, sensory things.
Like the summer feeling. What was it?
Stuck between my fingers like melted ice cream.
Yes.
I mean, that's such a small, fleeting moment, but it carries the entire emotional weight of a season.
It makes you wonder if we're sort of consciously outsourcing our memory storage. We feel a connection to a place, and maybe that feeling is just our subconscious realizing that place is holding a backup file for us.
Functionally, yes. When we struggle to remember something, it's often an external aid, a photo, a song, a place, that just unlocks the whole thing. The source material validates that comfort we get from knowing the places you love or actively retaining these little pieces of you.
Acting as these stable anchors to who we were.
Exactly. Non-judgmental anchors.
So, moving from the physical place of memory to the state of mind, you need to appreciate it. The dialogue touches on this emotional need that is just so relatable today. I miss that kind of stillness, the kind where the world forgets its hurry.
I mean, that's what everyone is chasing, isn't it? It's the ultimate goal.
It is.
And what's fascinating is the source doesn't treat that stillness as something you have to, wait for or travel to find. It offers an immediate internal path. It says, close your eyes, we can still go there. Some doors open just by remembering.
So the stillness is a conscious choice.
It's accessible through directed attention.
Okay, so the key to slowing down isn't external. It's intentional sensory recollection. But what about time itself? We all know that subjective feeling of time speeding up. How does this dialogue suggest we can reverse that?
This is where the personification of night becomes a really practical tool. Night is explicitly described as making everything slower. like even time gets sleepy.
That's a cognitive reframe.
Totally. We know the clock doesn't actually slow down, but the source teaches us how to induce the subjective experience of it slowing.
And how does it guide you to do that? What's the instruction?
It's through a kind of meditative instruction. It's focused on subtle sensory input. The dialogue gives the command, listen to the quiet. Feel it breathe with you. When you actively seek out those subtle sounds, the low hum of the fridge, the house settling, or you just focus on your own breathing, you shift your brain state. You're engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode.
And when that system takes over, your experience of time it expands?
It naturally expands, and that's the actionable nugget. Deliberate focus on quiet is a low-effort way to create the illusion of more time.
I find the imagery in that section so striking.
Yeah.
The air being wrapped in soft storybooks.
That detail is so critical. It implies that the stillness isn't just an absence of noise, it's the presence of comfort. A storybook suggests a narrative, safety, something predictable, like a childhood bedtime ritual.
So you're wrapping your current moment in a feeling of safety.
Exactly. You're moving beyond just quiet and into a psychological sanctuary. It reframes silence from being a void into a protective, structured space.
Okay, so let's turn our gaze upwards now. Because as the dialogue gets more still, the focus shifts to the cosmos. It connects these feelings to the stars, the fireflies, the moon.
It creates this beautiful personal mythology. And why look up? Because it gives you a necessary sense of scale and permanence. The fireflies are called whole galaxies in a jar, blinking like tiny memories.
Wow.
And that juxtaposition, the huge cosmos inside a tiny insect, it shows us how powerful even our smallest memories can feel when we look at them internally.
And the stars get an even deeper meaning. They're just old wishes we never stop whispering.
Mm-hmm.
That reframes these celestial bodies from, distant science into these personalized monuments to our own desires.
And this taps into a fundamental psychological need, right? Wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
Managing those latent desires. By projecting our wishes onto the stars, we don't have to carry the burden of them in the present moment. The dialogue suggests dreams come from things we once loved too quietly.
The unstated longings.
The unstated, unfulfilled longings that surface when our defenses relax at night.
And in this personal cosmology, the moon becomes the ultimate keeper of all these vulnerabilities.
Absolutely. She becomes the trusted confidant. The text says the moon holds these late-night thoughts like secrets no daylight can reach. Night itself is painted as the safe container. Daylight demands action and judgment.
But night provides a non-judgmental space.
Yes, where the subconscious can safely explore those quiet desires without any pressure to perform.
Even the clouds soften up. They're described as being like they've been waiting to become pillows. The whole environment is just morphing to offer comfort.
It's the ultimate psychological assurance. When we feel overwhelmed, the world can feel so harsh. The dialogue performs this kind of internal alchemy, suggesting that if we get still, the world becomes softer and safer.
Which sets the perfect stage for the final theme, framing sleep not as just rest, but as a shared journey, an adventure. It's such a positive spin on being vulnerable.
It really is.
And it makes you ask yourself, if you could sail on your own memories, where would your subconscious even take you tonight?
And the source material provides such an insightful destination for that trip. When one person asks where they'd go, the answer is to the attic of old summers, the corner where we made forts and fell asleep mid-laugh.
That's not just a place. That's a metaphor for the mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
The attic is where we store things we don't look at every day, but they're still essential.
Precisely. And they detail what you'd find there. Unfinished dreams, forgotten wishes, and a pair of shoes that never quite grew up. This space represents accepting our past potential. You're not finding evidence of failure. You're finding relics of your unburdened, hopeful self. The unfinished dreams are what the subconscious works on. The shoes that never quite grew up are the parts of us that stay innocent.
That framing makes sleep sound incredibly appealing. One voice even says, you always make sleep sound like an adventure?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, sleep requires vulnerability.
Yeah.
There's always that little fear of getting lost, you know?
And this is where the dialogue offers its biggest emotional payoff. Total reassurance. The promise of reunion is absolute. It's designed to counter that separation anxiety. I'll meet you at the edge of the clouds where sunbeams curl up like cats.
That's such a powerful analogy. It transforms the vast unconscious into a cozy, predictable meeting point.
It connects directly to attachment theory. When we enter a vulnerable state like sleep, having a safe, reliable figure, even a symbolic one, is just crucial. And the emotional climax is the response to the question, Will you stay until I drift?
And the answer is,
I'm already there, just beneath your favorite memory.
wow. That's not just a promise of companionship. It's saying the safety is already built into their shared history.
Right, and the whole journey ends with that shared promise. We'll keep dreaming together. It reframes sleep as this collaborative, protected process.
This whole dialogue seems less about talking and more about building a psychological safety bubble.
I think so. By validating the physical memory of places, by reframing night as a time of slowing and protection, and then defining sleep as a shared, safe adventure. The source provides this comprehensive guide to quiet introspection.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this? We started by recognizing that our quiet laughter might actually be stored in a place we love. We learned that stillness can be accessed just by intentionally remembering.
And we viewed the stars as repositories for our deepest wishes, relieving us of that present-day pressure.
And finally, we defined sleep not as oblivion, but as a journey to a safe, nostalgic attic where our past and future selves can meet in peace.
The overarching takeaway, I think, is that the most powerful tools for managing modern stress are often the simplest ones. The source material validates the necessity of these quiet moments. It reframes introspection and memory not as just passive nostalgia, but as a readily accessible door to escape the world's hurry.
A door that's always available.
Always. It reminds us that profound emotional security can be built just by focusing on the soft, safe structures we project onto the world around us.
And it all begins and ends with a quiet whisper, an invitation to turn inward. If night makes time sleepy, we invite you to reflect on that. Seek out the kind of silence that gently rocks you like the sea, and tonight, maybe choose one small, quiet memory that will be your destination, the most peaceful kind of adventure.